The automotive world harbors a delicious irony that contradicts everything we believe about performance and price. There exist vehicles that cost substantially more than their competitors, accelerate more slowly, and yet feel unmistakably more expensive, more refined, and more luxurious. These cars have mastered the art of appearing superior while actually being inferior in raw performance metrics. They've learned that luxury is not about going faster, it's about how you feel while going slower. This phenomenon reveals that our perception of quality is largely determined not by objective measurements, but by psychological and sensory manipulation. So sophisticated that we willingly pay premium prices for cars that are, quite literally, slower. The most prominent example is the Rolls-Royce Phantom compared to contemporary sports sedans. A base model Phantom costs approximately $500,000 and will accelerate from 0 to 60 in approximately 6 seconds. Meanwhile, a Tesla Model S Plaid costing around $100,000 completes the same feat in just over 2 seconds. The Phantom is literally 3 times slower. A Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat costing around $70,000 hits 60 in approximately 3 seconds. The Phantom is more than twice as slow as a vehicle costing 1/7 of its price. Yet if you ask 100 wealthy individuals which car feels more expensive, nearly all would say the Phantom. Speed, it appears, is not the primary determinant of perceived luxury. What the Phantom does possess is a refinement in its slowness. The acceleration is not jerky, it's deliberate and measured. The engine note is muted rather than aggressive. The acceleration builds gradually, almost reluctantly, as though the car is too dignified to rush. This leisurely pace actually enhances the perception of luxury, because luxury is historically associated with having the leisure to move slowly. Kings and carriages move slowly. Wealthy individuals in earlier centuries traveled at measured paces because speed was associated with necessity and urgency. The Phantom channels this historical aesthetic. It's not slow because it's inadequate, it's slow because it's deliberately rejecting the idea that faster is better. The Bentley Continental GT Speed presents a similar paradox. At over $200,000, this Grand Tourer can reach 60 in approximately 3.5 seconds. A Porsche 911 Carrera, costing roughly $100,000, accomplishes this in 3 seconds flat. The Bentley is slower despite being twice as expensive. Yet the Bentley feels more luxurious because its power delivery is utterly smooth and linear, building with perfect consistency. The Porsche's acceleration is sharper, more immediate, more visceral, characteristics that enthusiasts celebrate, but that don't necessarily align with luxury perception. The Bentley owner feels like they're piloting a refined instrument. The Porsche owner feels like they're driving a performance machine. Luxury buyers often prefer the former feeling. The Maybach stands as another example of deliberate deceleration disguised as opulence. This ultra-expensive sedan, starting at $1.8 million, features a powerful engine yet remains engineered for smooth, predictable acceleration. The same engine installed in a more performance-oriented Mercedes-AMG would produce a substantially more thrilling driving experience. The Maybach intentionally blunts that experience, softening throttle response, limiting acceleration curves, and prioritizing smoothness over excitement. Drivers consistently report that the Maybach accelerates more gently than sports cars costing a quarter of its price. Yet, this deliberate slowness is precisely what makes it feel expensive. The driver has demonstrated the ultimate luxury, the ability to afford a fast car and then engineer it to be slow. That choice itself communicates wealth and control. This phenomenon extends into the luxury sedan category more broadly. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class costs roughly $150,000, with 0 to 60 times around 4 seconds. A Charger RT, costing perhaps $35,000, achieves the same in under 4 seconds. The S-Class feels dramatically more expensive, despite being demonstrably slower. Similarly, a BMW 7 Series costs over $100,000, but performs 0 to 60 in approximately 5.5 seconds. A Dodge Challenger RT, costing under $50,000, does it in under 4 seconds. The cheaper muscle cars are faster. The expensive sedans feel more luxurious. The psychological mechanism underlying this apparent contradiction is the substitution of performance with refinement. A car that feels fast is one with sharp acceleration, aggressive engine notes, and responsive steering. A car that feels expensive is one with smooth acceleration, muted engine notes, and isolating steering. These are almost opposite characteristics. The fast car demands your attention. The expensive car allows you to ignore it. The fast car makes you aware of its mechanical nature. The expensive car creates the illusion that you're simply moving without mechanical intermediation. The fast car excites. The expensive car serenely transports. Wealth, historically, purchased the ability to not care about speed. The Lexus LS represents a fascinating case study in this dynamic. This sedan costs approximately $80,000 and is brutally slow by modern standards, with 0 to 60 times exceeding 6 seconds. A Challenger SRT costing roughly $60,000 reaches 60 in approximately 3 seconds. The Lexus is more than twice as slow for nearly the same price. Yet Lexus owners rarely feel they've made a poor choice, because the experience of driving a Lexus is orchestrated to feel luxurious precisely through its restraint. The engine is nearly inaudible. The suspension absorbs imperfections invisibly. The cabin isolation is remarkable. You don't feel the car working hard because the engineering ensures you never experience the car working at all. Compare this to sports cars, which deliberately make you feel their exertion. A muscle car communicates its effort through engine vibration, through engine noise, through responsive steering. It's essentially bragging about its mechanical nature. A luxury car hides its mechanical nature completely. It performs slowness as an aesthetic choice rather than a limitation. This is why luxury cars feel expensive despite being slow. They've repackaged restraint as refinement. The Jaguar XJ, despite Jaguar's sporting heritage, demonstrates this principle perfectly. Modern versions are relatively slow compared to performance-oriented competitors at similar price points. Yet when you drive one, it feels supremely expensive because every input has been filtered, smoothed, and refined. The steering doesn't communicate the road, it abstracts it. The acceleration is graduated and undramatic. The engine sound is suppressed. All of these design choices, all of which compromise performance, combine to create an impression of extraordinary luxury. You're paying for the engineering effort required to make a car perform slowly and feel expensive doing it. This reveals something profound about luxury marketing. Manufacturers have discovered that they can sell slowness as sophistication. They can engineer restraint and call it refinement. A car company could make an affordable sedan that accelerates slowly and feels unrefined. A luxury car company takes that same slowness and packages it with smooth power delivery, isolated cabins, and materials that suggest cost and exclusivity. Suddenly, the slowness becomes a feature rather than a fault. It becomes the automotive equivalent of speaking in measured tones and wearing tailored clothing. The slowness communicates control and deliberation rather than inadequacy. Acoustic engineering plays a crucial role in this deception. A car reaching 60 in 3 seconds but producing a muted engine note feels slower and more expensive than a car reaching 60 in 2 seconds with an aggressive sound. The ear processes engine noise as an indicator of effort and harshness. Luxury manufacturers spend enormous resources soundproofing, filtering, and eliminating engine noise. Sports manufacturers amplify it. The steering systems demonstrate the same principle. A performance car steering is direct and communicative. A luxury car steering is isolated and filtered. Creating that isolation paradoxically requires more engineering than creating directness. The luxury car achieves the illusion that steering the wheels requires minimal effort and produces minimal consequence. The performance car communicates immediate mechanical linkage. Despite the performance car using simpler steering systems, the luxury car feels more expensive because it's made you feel less. This phenomenon extends even to interior design. A sports car interior prioritizes function and driver engagement. Buttons are logically placed for quick access. Displays are positioned for easy reading during aggressive driving. The interior communicates that this is a tool designed for performance. A luxury car's interior prioritizes that this is a tool designed for performance. Controls are made of materials that feel expensive but may be slightly less convenient to operate. The interior communicates that this is a work of art, not a tool. The tool approach feels faster. The art approach feels more expensive. The cruel irony is that the psychological effect is genuine. You actually do feel like you're in something more expensive when driving a luxury car, even if that car is slower. Your brain processes all the sensory cues, the smooth acceleration, the muted sounds, the isolated feel, and concludes that you've invested in something superior. The subjective experience of luxury is manufactured more effectively by removing sensations associated with performance than by providing performance. In this respect, luxury car manufacturers have become masters of sensory psychology, using the absence of stimulation to suggest the presence of sophistication. The market has validated this approach completely. If customers preferred faster cars, they would choose the Challenger over the S-Class. They would select the Charger over the Maybach. They would drive the Porsche instead of the Bentley. Instead, they consistently choose the slower, more expensive alternatives because the slower alternative makes them feel like they've acquired something genuinely luxurious. The lesson is that luxury is not an objective quality. It's a feeling created through the systematic removal of characteristics associated with performance. In the process, some of the world's most expensive cars have become some of the slowest, and nobody seems to mind because they feel extraordinary doing it.